Hello everyone, welcome to TCG Talk, back with another video, and today we're going to be doing a deck tech on Katsu, specifically in Blitz. I made this video a couple days ago and I posted it and everything because I was in a rush and I did not realize that my Briar deck was in the background as I was talking about it. Like, Katsu was on my screen, but Briar was being shown because I had the wrong display capture on my OBS and it was just terrible. So I posted that, so if you watch that, I apologize. But we're going to redo this. So the one thing I wanted to do, like I said in the last video and in the Briar video, if you want to go check it out, is a lot of the deck techs that you see for Flesh and Blood Online, they're amazing. They're great competitive decks. Highly recommend them if you're trying to get really competitive in the scene. However, for new players or even intermediate players, those decks are really hard because a lot of those decks with the legendary equipment can cost as little as $300 to $400 or as much as $500-600 after you buy all the cards with the equipment. And for some people, it's just not feasible, right? Some people don't want to do that. Maybe some people just want to be somewhat competitive at their local game store. They're not looking to go to a call-in, right? So they want to spend $100 max on a deck, maybe not even that much, maybe like $50. And so I wanted to make a couple, budget deck techs for new and middle of the line players that maybe want to go to the local game store and just have fun, but also be somewhat competitive and at least, be able to challenge people in their area. So this deck I made is for Katsu. It's an Aggro Katsu deck build. It's similar to the one I have on my channel already, but this one is only commons and rares and then common equipment. So I net deck this on TCG player, and it cost me $17. The only things you have to watch out for is the Katsu and the harmonized Kodachis. Make sure that you get the token ones and not like the single back ones, because if you get the like promo or single back ones, they can be worth more money. So make sure you're just getting the regular token ones. If you can't find them online, your local game store is going to have them if they have any type of draft chaff box. Just ask around, you'll definitely get them if you don't already have these. But for Aggro Katsu, again, $17 deck, $20 max. And I promise you, this deck will beat a lot of blitz decks that have majestics and other things. It's that good if you play it correctly, because Katsu's ability is just unreal. So Katsu's ability is the first time an attack action hits, you are allowed to discard a card with the cost 0 and then go search for a card with the word combo in it, which is really useful because Katsu's all about stringing together attacks with go again and using cards with combo in order to get on hit effects and get buffed attacks. His Kodachis will swing for 1 with 1 resource, and if you have a card with 0 in the pitch zone, then they can go again. So for the equipment, nothing changes from the regular Katsu build except for the head, right? The head is, I'm using Hope Merchant's Hood. Normally you'd want to use Mask of Momentum, but again, that's a $115 card. So what I started with before I got Mask was Hope Merchant's Hood, which is an amazing card for Katsu in my opinion. What it does is you're allowed to shuffle any amount of the cards back into your deck and then redraw up. So like if you draw, I did this last week when I was playing without the mask. Let's say you draw your initial hand and it's 2 defense reactions and 2 pump spells. But you're going first, so you can't even attack. But you don't want to, just waste those cards right off the bat. All those cards are very useful. You can pop Hope Merchant's Hood at instant speed, put all 4 cards back in your deck, shuffle your deck, and then draw 4 new cards. So it's really good for that. Heart and Cross Trap is what I use normally with Katsu anyway. You get 2 resources to play for your next card. And I usually use these when I'm trying to play either A, and open the center, or B, a Surging Strike. Whenever you're wanting to play one of these 2 cards, use your Heart and Cross Trap. That's the best time to use it. For Breaking Scales, it defends for 1 the first time, and then it has an attack reaction of giving a card with the word combo +1. This is really good because playing against Katsu, you're trying to not let him get his on-hit effects. So this can punish an enemy hero for someone who's trying to exactly block you, right? Let's say you play let's say you play a Open the Center, right? And you're trying to play your Fluster Fist afterwards, right? Which is the combo after Open the Center. And let's say they use the defense reaction and equipment against Open the Center and they block for 5 exactly. You can use this to give it +1 and be able to use that on hit trigger to maybe go get Fluster Fist. So it's really useful for enabling your Katsu ability basically and gain that on hit trigger effect. Then I'll use Snapdragon Scalers just to give it go again. This is really good maybe if you have 2 or 3 combo cards in hand, so you don't have like a natural go again, but you want to be able to string together like 2 really good attacks. Maybe you have, let's say, a defense reaction, a regular card, and then you have Open the Center and Flusterfist. You pop your Heart and Cross Trap to play Open the Center for free. Give it Go Again with the Snapdragon Scalers, and then play Flusterfist because Flusterfist has a buff if Open the Center was the last card played. So you can use it if you don't have the original card that you need in the chain. It's really good for that. As we're getting into the deck itself, the key with this deck, like I said in the last Katsu video that I did, is you're trying to string together multiple attacks in different combo lines. Katsu has several lines of cards that are combo, and they basically buff each other if you play them all consecutively. So you're trying to get Go Again, you're trying to go wide, you're dealing a lot of damage. I know with Katsu, with my regular deck, I can deal 15 damage a turn easily if I have full hand. With Katsu, you're typically not going to want to block. You can use Flick Flax and even Sink Below, Favorite Scene, stuff like that. I would suggest Flick Flax and then Sink Belows. But, normally you don't want to attack or defend because most heroes, almost every hero can't race you. The only one that kind of can is Dorinthia. Other than that, it's really hard. I've had several games where I literally have barely defended and won pretty easily just because people can't afford to let you hit for 15 a turn. So with the cards, you'll notice they're all like this. The first line that Katsu likes to use is the Head Jab line. So you'll use Head Jab, and then Open the Center, and then Flusterfist. So Head Jab at red hits for 3. If you play Open the Center after Head Jab, it gets +1, Go Again, and Dominate. So without that, it just hits for 5. But with it, it gets the Go Again and Dominate and +1. So it hits for 6 with Dominate and Go Again. So you can already see you're hitting for 9 total right now. And then if you play Flusterfist as a third card, it gets +1 for every chain link you have done. So maybe you Kodachi'd for 1, and then you Head Jabbed, and then you Open the Center, and then you played Flusterfist. It gets +3 because you played 3 links before it. So it hits for 7. So if you Kodachi, Head Jab, Open the Center, Flusterfist, you're hitting for 1, 4, 10, and then 17. So you're hitting for 17 in 4 cards. So that's a really good line. The next line is the Leg Tap line. So you do Leg Tap into Rising Knee Thrust into Blackout Kick. I really love this line overall. Leg Tap's an automatic Go Again. Cost 1 to hit for 4. And then if you play Rising Knee Thrust, it gains +2 and Go Again, so that's for 5, so that's 9. And then Blackout Kick, if Rising Knee Thrust was last in the chain, gains +3, so it gets for 7. So you're looking at 7 +4, 11, +5, 16. So you're hitting for 16 with 3 cards. And again, with Katsu's ability, let's say you don't have Rising Knee Thrust in your hand right now. If you play Leg Tap and they don't fully block it out, then you can use Katsu's ability, discard a card with 0, and then go search for Rising Knee Thrust in your deck and then shuffle your deck. So it's really good for that. Another small line is Soul Bead Strike into Crane Dance. I won't go over that too much, but basically that'll end up hitting pretty much for 4, 4 and then 3, or 4 and 4. So you're hitting for basically 8, and you can play a card after this if you want. And then the final line, which isn't in here fully because you can't play the full McGinty lines because McGinty Release is a super rare and Lord of Winds a Majestic, but you can play half the McGinty line by playing Surging Strike. It's a 2 cost for 5. Like I said, use Heart and Cross Trap if you can for this. Into Whelming Gust Wave, which at red hits for 4 with Go Again if Surging Strike was the last one played. And if Whelming Gust Wave hits, you draw a card. So it's really good. So those are your lines that you're trying to hit very consistently. And a large portion of this deck, as you can see, is those lines. Other things we have is like Torn of Tempo, which is a 1 cost for 5, which is fantastic value. Scar for Scar, sometimes we don't want to block. We're racing people. So sometimes the life is going like this the whole game. So if you're on a turn where you're barely lower than them in life, as long as you're lower than your opposing hero in life, Scar for a Scar gains Go Again. We're using Snatch because if it hits, you draw a card. So they don't want you drawing a card. That's just going to enable your combo lines more. So either they have to double block here, use the defense reaction, or you're going to draw a card. So this is really good. I like using Snatch at the end of a combo line. So maybe, I'll play a Leg Tap into a Rising Knee Thrust into a Blackout Kick. And I have Snatch as my last card, or maybe an Arsenal, and I'll use it at the end to draw that extra card up and then Arsenal. Because if you play Snatch at the end of a 3 or 4 attack line, they typically probably don't have cards in hand to block you with. So it's an easy draw. And then I have a couple pump spells. Razor Reflex is super good. both for your Kodachis and for regular attacks. Captain's Call is good at 0 cost. It pumps it, and it pumps your cards, and it'll give you go again. And then Lunging Press is the great one. This is the one no one expects. It pitches. You can pitch it for 3, so you can use it for resources. But it also gives your attacks +1, which is really good. Again, it's similar to like the breaking skills equipment, where it's going to give you that +1 effect in order to get that on-hit effect that you're trying to achieve. The final card I put in here, which you honestly could sub out for something else. So like I would sub it out for Flick Flack if I need more, a little bit more defense maybe. Is Plunder Run. If a card, next card attack action hits, you draw a card, which is nice, and it's +3, gives your attack +3 if you do out of Arsenal. I love this card for this deck, but if you want to sub in your Flick Flacks, because this is Blitz with 40 cards, then you can. Flick Flack's really good if you're playing a Dorinthia, if you're playing a Bolton, or you're playing anybody that's trying to go wide and try to race you. Flick Flack's really good for that. It's also good for even a Guardian if you're trying to maybe give your attacks that little bit of umph when they're trying to defend for you. So this is my Katsu deck. Like I said, $17 deck if you net it on TCG Player right now. Really good. It's only commons and rares. And like I said, I promise, if you get this Blitz deck, you will win games. I can guarantee it, especially at your local game store. It's definitely won me games. I've gone, like we normally have 3 to 4 rounds. And I remember even before I got all my equipment, I was going 2-1, 3-1 with this deck at my local game store. I might lose one. I always lose to a Prism player that plays it there. I do really bad against Prism for some reason. But this deck's really good. It'll go good against a lot of different matchups. It's good against the ice meta too, because a lot of your cards are 0 cost. So even if they frostbite you for 1, you basically have to pay 1 resource. So if you pitch a blue, like you're fine. You still have 2 resources floating. So it's good for that. It's good to race against people. Very few people, if you start to get the tempo, they'll never get it back unless they have some crazy card. So it's really useful for that. But yeah, hope you all enjoyed this. Hopefully it was useful for you, for any new or intermediate players not looking to spend a lot of money and have a decent deck. You could also turn this to a classic constructed deck if you just add on the extra cards and move some cards around. But for the most part, just add on cards. You can use this as a constructed deck as well. But I hope you all enjoyed this. If you did, leave a like, comment, let me know what you thought about it, good and bad. Subscribe if you want. Thank you all so much again for everything. I just wanted to start a channel just for fun, and the amount of reception we've received in a week is already really good, and I'm really appreciative of it. So thank you all so much. Even if you watch for 10 seconds, like I appreciate you for doing it. Please go to another Flesh and Blood creator, leave a like and comment and subscribe on their stuff too. We need more people to see this game, and that's the best way to do it. But I hope you all have a great rest of your week, and hopefully this video was useful for you, and I'll see you guys next time on TCG Talk. Thank you all so much.